RAG evaluation is how you check whether your retrieval system is actually pulling the right documents that help with answering the question. In this video, we'll cover three things. Why the answer looked right is a trap, the core metrics that actually measure retrieval quality, and how to evaluate the generation step separately from the retrieval step. Welcome to Scovia Labs, where we make AI concepts feel like everyday ideas. Let's start with a quick recap on RAG. A user asks a question, the system retrieves the relevant chunks from a document store, and the model generates an answer using those chunks as context. If you're unfamiliar with how retrieval or metadata filtering works under the hood, check out our other videos on this topic. Links are in the description. So far, so good. So you have built it, you tried a few questions, the answers sounded reasonable, so you just ship it, right? Let's go a bit deeper into the problem. You ask your RAG system 5 questions in a demo. They all come back sounding fluent, confident, and plausible. So you assume retrieval is working. But sounds right and is right are two completely different things. A model can write a beautifully fluent answer using the wrong document. It can also write a correct sounding answer that's quietly hallucinated, with retrieval contributing nothing useful at all. And a human skimming 5 demo answers will almost never catch this because fluent language is persuasive even when it's wrong. So if you only eyeball the outputs, you're not evaluating RAG. You're evaluating whether the model is a good writer. Those are not the same skill. Let's use one running example. A support chatbot for a software company answering the question, how do I reset my API key? The key insight in RAG evaluation is that there are two separate jobs happening, and you have to measure them separately. Job 1 is did the retrieval find the right documents, and job 2 is did the generation use those documents correctly. A RAG system can fail at either one independently. So a single end-to-end looks good check can tell you which part is broken. Let's start with retrieval evaluation. Step 1 is to build a test set with known correct answers. For our API key example, you'd have a question and you'd already know which document chunk actually contains the right answer. Say the authentication and keys document. That's your ground truth. Run retrieval as step 2 and check what came back. You're not looking at the final answer yet. You're only looking at the list of chunks retrieval pulled back. Did the authentication and keys doc show up in that list at all? And step 3 is to score it with retrieval metrics. And here are some of the popular retrieval metrics. Precision of the documents retrieved, like how many were actually relevant, or recall of all the relevant documents that exist. How many did retrieval actually find? And the mean reciprocal rank, MRR. If the right document showed up, was it ranked first or buried at position 8? Think of it like a librarian again. Precision asks whether every book they bought you is actually useful. Recall asks whether they left any useful book back on the shelf. And MRR asks whether the best book was handed to you first or buried at the bottom of the stack. Step 4 is to now separately evaluate the generation. Once you know retrieval found the right chunk, a different question kicks in. Did the model actually use it correctly? This is where you check for faithfulness. Does the answer stay grounded in the retrieved text or does it wander off and add things that aren't there? Step 5 is to compare against a held out gold answer. You write or curate a correct reference answer ahead of time and then compare the model's generated answer against it, either with human review or with an LLM acting as a judge. This separation matters because the fixes are completely different. If retrieval is broken, you fix your chunking, your embeddings, or your filters. If generation is broken, you fix your prompt or your model. Conflating the two means you might rebuild your entire vector database to fix a problem that was actually in the prompt all along. So, why not just measure the final answer's accuracy and call it a day? Because that number alone doesn't tell you where to look. An end to end accuracy score of 60% could mean retrieval is great and generation is sloppy, or retrieval is terrible and generation is doing damage control. Same score, but a completely different fix. There's also a trade off in how you build your test set. Hand labeled ground truth is the gold standard. It's accurate, but it's slow and expensive to build at scale. Using an LLM to generate synthetic questions and judge answers is much faster and cheaper, but it inherits whatever blind spots that LLM has. So it can rate a subtly wrong answer as acceptable. Most production teams end up doing both: a small, carefully labeled set for trustworthy scoring, and a larger LLM judged set for quick regression checks when something changes. RAG evaluation is not the same thing as checking if the chatbot is friendly or well written. It's also not a one time event. Document collections change, embeddings may drift when you update models, and your retrieval pipeline that scored well in January can quietly degrade by June. And this happens when new untagged documents come in with time. Evaluation is a recurring check, it's not a launch certificate. So the real trade off is this: retrieval metrics tell you whether the system found the right haystack needle. Generation metrics tell you whether the model actually read it correctly. And a trustworthy RAG system needs both measured on their own, because a good final answer can hide a broken pipeline underneath. I hope this helped you see that a RAG system that sounds confident isn't the same as a RAG system that's actually working. Please subscribe to Scovia Labs for more eye opening AI insights. And as always, stay curious.